So you already know the way we do it is, we try and give people, create businesses for people rather than just giving them a fish. We teach them how to fish. Okay. One other beautiful thing is 100% of donations received by Microlend Australia actually go to the overseas sites. The reason is the volunteers here in this room, including the founders, myself, we actually absorb all administration costs, and that includes even the dinner tonight. The dinner was already paid for before you came in. Okay? So it's a beautiful thing for you to know that none of your money is wasted. 100% of the people in Microlend Australia are volunteers. We have no paid staff. Again, that makes us very unusual. And that's why if you go and have a look at our annual report, you'll see that we have very few running costs. And then, of course, our aim that we are truly trying to get the truly impoverished people. Okay? So far, we've created over 1,000 businesses in Microlend Australia, which is something like 5,000 people coming out of poverty. And if you go back from the beginning, we've actually done over 2,000 businesses now. All right, now having talked about the features, if I could now show you the rest of the presentation. So how do we actually fund an overseas microfinance centre? So the first thing we do is we actually try and find an existing centre that's already over there, that's ideally not for profit. So typically they may be doing a vulnerable children's program or an orphanage or an AIDS program or single mothers or something like that. And we then come along and ask them whether they're interested to also help their community by having a microfinance program. So that's how we start. So once we found somebody like that, and I tell you, we have lots of people sitting in a queue there. We then say, okay, if you want us to do this, we insist that you set up a separate bank account for our activities. And the reason is we don't want them to mix up the microfinance part with their other activities, because lo and behold, by magic, the money seems to disappear. Where this way, by having a separate account, we can hold them accountable. So we then donate the funds to that overseas centre. Okay? Take note, we do not own the centre. A separate set of trustees over there control the whole show. So that's why we're a charity. We actually truly donate. None of the funds come back. Once those monies are then over there, they then commence a training program to teach people how to create a business, which we supply them with that training program. They then model their businesses to see if they're worthwhile doing. And then once the trustees, and often myself, approve those business models, we then issue them with a loan. They then pay the loan back. That's step number 3, if you have a look at the screen behind me. And they pay that to get back together with a management fee, so we're not for free. And the reason is the overseas centre is usually so poor themselves that they need a management fee just to survive. So it's not for us, it's just to make that centre survive over there. Once that money comes back, the management fee only then gets transferred into their normal trading account, and then the coordinator and the administration fees are paid. So that's the model. Okay, so you can see we have a pretty tight control. We control this via using cloud-based accounting systems. We usually use Xero, and that way we can actually see every piece of money that moves in and out, every loan that is issued, and every repayment that comes back. So it's a pretty good way of controlling things. So when we did this, we then realized, yeah, that looks pretty good. Well, let's put $100,000 or something like that into the loan trust account. And then if they charge 10% or something like that, then they get $10,000 a year to live off. And then we sort of went, oh, well, that's not an awful lot to run an entire centre. And also it works on the premise that all of the loans always get repaid on time, which of course is not realistic. So we realized that eventually the loan trust account would shrink again. And to prevent that, we then give them, at the end of the term, a capital project that they themselves own. So rather than issuing it as a loan to a poor person, we actually say to the centre, you have your own business as well. So that way they then have two sets of income. They have the management fee and they have the income from that separate business. If the income from the business is high enough, they can even get rid of the management fee and they can issue the loans for free. And that would be the ultimate model that we would love to see.